Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to look at the trailer for the film Doctor Sleep, which came out today. But before we do that, I would like to mention to everybody, because the last episode of Rated R Riffs got a decent amount of views, we are going to do another one this Saturday night. As again, it'll be me, Vash, and Sham. I don't think we're going to have a fourth right now, but maybe on the third episode we'll bring in a fourth person. But we will be watching FDR American Badass. So if you can get your hands on the movie, come join us. It'll be same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. I will set a premiere date probably early in the day on Saturday. So if anybody wants to watch, please come on over and have some fun with us ripping apart a terrible, terrible, truly terrible film. Um, so now that all that's taken care of, let's jump into the trailer. So the trailer for Doctor Sleep. Now, keep in mind, this is Doctor Sleep is a sequel to The Shining. And the book was written by Stephen King in 2013, and now it's being adapted into a film. So the director of the film has stated on several occasions that this is a direct sequel to the King novel, but he has also said they are going to acknowledge the Kubrick film, and they do a in a big way in this trailer, and I'll get to that. Um, but the director is Mike Flanagan, and basically, the first part of the trailer introduces us to Ewan McGregor, and Ewan McGregor is playing Danny Torrance, who, if you remember The Shining, is the little boy who is the son of Jack Torrance, and he has the quote unquote The Shining, the mental ability, the telepathic abilities, and in the first part of this trailer, we see kind of this weird little thing where he starts writing. He writes something on the wall, and then he comes back the next day. He says hello, and then he comes back the next day, and instead of hello, it says morning, and then he writes school above it, and he goes to bed again, and then for whatever reason that night just the wall just almost implodes, and then he looks at the wall and it says red rum, much like what he had been written on the door in The Shining, because red rum is murder spelled backwards. And again, they do a lot of callbacks to the film, including adding footage of that original film back into this. But from what we can tell from the trailer, after this initial scene, we kind of jump into Danny Torrance, who's played by Ewan McGregor, kind of he starts meeting these other people that have Shining, have the ability like he does, um, and it's kind of like the older the older black man from the original Shining who gets killed by Jack Nicholson with the axe. Um, he these people know about it, and basically, Ewan McGregor explains that he's only met a few people in his entire life that have the same abilities that he does, and they're all dead. And it seems like we're also going to kind of get some kind of like a culty thing here, because from what we can tell, there's a scene where they show this little girl who's like off in the woods, and then these people surround her and kind of like swarm onto her. It's kind of weird. But after that, we go into this very quick cut kind of montage where we see, a lot of these famous shots from Kubrick's film, like the scene where Danny is riding down the hallway on his big wheel over the carpet. We see the waterfall of blood out of the elevator, and a few other things. But the end of the trailer is really what kind of gets you into the film a bit more, and it is Danny Torrance returning to the Overlook Hotel, or seemingly returning to the Overlook Hotel. It could be something different. It could be a dream or something. But he walks in and he walks up to the same door that Jack Nicholson put an axe through. And says, "Hey, here's Johnny," the Johnny Carson thing from the original Shining, and it still has red rum written on the door. So it's very interesting to kind of see this. I'm a really big fan of the 1980 Kubrick film. and it's kind of weird. Again, it's one of those situations where you're getting a sequel a number of years later. The trailer got me a bit interested in the movie, but at the same time, uh, I'm curious where it's going to take it. I haven't read the novel, so I don't necessarily know much of the background that happened. And they probably explain what happened to Danny after the events of The Shining, but it's kind of interesting just to kind of see and jump back into that world again. And it's also interesting for them to tie it so closely to Kubrick's film. And I hope this isn't one of those things where they're going to try to copy his style, and they're going to try to copy kind of the feel and the tone of the Kubrick film, because I don't if you're not Stanley Kubrick, I don't necessarily think you can make that work. We saw that with Steven Spielberg and AI, where he tried to basically be Stanley Kubrick and it didn't work. So I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned that this is, that really as far as the marketing goes, if this is the first trailer and they keep this up, they're going to market this thing as a sequel to The Shining. And if it turns out that that's false advertising, people are not going to give a shit about this movie. And by what I mean false advertising is that they don't it's only mentioned in passing. The events of The Shining of this or something like that. They don't really go into any of the stuff that happened at the Overlook Hotel, and then they just kind of just go with their own story. It would feel like false advertising. It would feel like, why did you make this character Danny Torrance if you're not going to relate a lot of the stuff back to the Overlook? And again, it does show that he goes back to the Overlook in the trailer, but it's still something that's a bit concerning. The film is being put out by Warner Brothers Pictures, and it is due to hit theaters on October 1st of this, or sorry, November 8th of this year. So I don't know. It looks kind of interesting. I'm going to link the trailer below in the description. If you would like to watch it, feel free. I'd like to know your opinion. Remember to put your opinions or your thoughts in the comments. Are you a fan of the Kubrick film? Are you more of a fan of the novel by Stephen King, or maybe the miniseries? Would you like to see a sequel? Is this interesting to you? Put all your thoughts in the comments. I like to read them. Remember to hit the bell for notifications. Hit the like button. Subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?